Hello everybody, this is Frogman. Welcome back to IXION and our continued wanderings across the Theta Crucius system and looking at various little things going on. I went ahead and rolled it back just a little bit because I think the end of the last episode I kind of rushed that through a little bit, and I do apologize. That last little thing right here is a kind of a big deal to get to, and probably we should have tried to hit that place up fairly quickly, and maybe that's a hindsight later on trying to run this a little bit faster. This upgrade that we get right here is actually a very, 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 very powerful upgrade, considering that what it does for what you're supposed to do. So I wanted to make sure we touched on it again. So if things are a little different, it's because I had to back it up a little bit. I actually had an autosave like right before we did most of that stuff, so we should be able to kind of talk about it. So some of this might be a little different, the time might be a little different. But either way, let's talk about this a little bitty upgrade really quickly before we get any further into the silliness. That little bitty upgrade of what you're going to get out of it when you get to that point is that the research cost for upgrades is reduced by 10%, which means anything from here on out that you don't have researched is going to cost you 10% less than what you would have normally spent on it, which means maybe there's a point to try to get to the other side of the sector as quickly as possible. If you're, like I said, if you're trying to speed run this or try to save on this, just a hindsight 2020 kind of thing real quick, trying to save on science once you get to this sector, you want to get those cracked open as quickly as possible and then move the Tiqqun to the R&D district as quickly as you can so that you can get that particular thing, because that will definitely, and I mean definitely, help with what your cost is going to be. So since we have a reasonable amount of science, we're going to go ahead and do a little bit more as far as those things are concerned. I do want to put another one of the drone researches in. We're just going to keep knocking these drone researches out, because every single time you do another one of these things, it's like, well, okay, this is drone capacity by 1, drone capacity by 1, drone capacity by 1. Research command has increased the number of resources drones can carry by 3, by 2, so 2, 3. As you keep doing these things, you get more and more drones that can carry more and more stuff inside the Tiqqun, and it becomes way more efficient to move things from sector to sector using the drones than it is to use these little things that come off the stockpiles. So, we're good to go there as far as is concerned. I don't believe we've done anything else in here. The other thing I was going to do, actually, before we got a little too excited, is that we need to kind of think about making sure that we do a little bit more work with some of the other materials that we're currently moving around. Right now, we're stuck. I've got this thing here that I could put to use, and in reality, I think the thing that I could probably do with it is just get rid of it at this point, but we do have an awful lot of silicon still floating around. I mean, according to the maths here, if we look at this, we have 2,046 silicon hanging out in this sector that we are not currently working with. And, well, as it sits right now, that's, well, what is that? That's fairly simple, easy math to do at that point. It takes 25 to make 1, and we had, what was the number? Get this one. So, yeah, we got a lot. I mean, that probably have more that I need to go find, but that's, several hundred circuits that we should be making right now that we are not. So let's go ahead and fix that little problem, or at least try to make that little problem go away by utilizing our current little space sector. I'm going to tell this right here, this one, to stop picking up people. So, nope, not this one. I gotta quit clicking the wrong button. Santa's sleigh, you are no longer allowed to pick up people, you are allowed to pick up silicon. I'm going to go have you do that, and then inside the Tiqqun in that sector, we're going to turn this one to silicon, and we're going to turn it on. We're going to go do that, and then shut it back off, and tell everything in Sector 1 as far as silicon is concerned, no, I don't want any, and in Sector 2, bring in as much as you can. That way we'll be able to pull whatever comes out of here into there. And that should be the last time that one delivers cryopods. Now, I think here fairly soon we should have enough. Yeah, we have way more than enough stuff to do all the cryopods, but like I said, again, my whole goal is from here on out. Any more cryopods that we get, we're bringing every single one of them with us. So now that this Faraday is completed with that little bitty job of moving all of the science away from here, we can now send the Faraday to CRUCP51. And we should have gotten that research taken care of, correct? Or we're working on it right now. I think we're working on it right now. No, that was the one that we just got done doing. And again, I'm just going to kind of keep stacking science in on the bay and on this drone bay for right now, just so that we can make things work a little better. Technology space optimization has been unlocked. I want this one, please.
The science ship has arrived at its destination.
Drones move 10% faster, or drones increase capacity by that. We'll just do this and this again. We'll just keep going. It's going to cost us a little bit more, but again, logistics is the name of the game in something like this, especially given the fact that we have a lot of stuff that needs to move around. And we now have a request science event. What is going on with you guys, please? Among the items recovered from the Orn 8 security room was a prototype supercomputer based on PA architecture. We know we're the ones that authorized it to come back in and be studied. It could be integrated into our tech lab computer systems. Stanford protocols encourage the use of external. Do not discourage. Whatever. Basically, Stanford's telling us don't use something that's going to help us out. Again, if you want to follow on and be a Dolos Corporate, you can be a perfect Dolos Corporate. I'm not one of those kinds of people that is a perfect Corporate person, because I work for somewhat companies occasionally that you have to tell people they're doing things wrong even though they don't want to hear it. Bottom line or not. We're going to turn this on because it's going to help our bottom line later on as far as making more science cheaper for us. So that's one of the things you want to make sure you do. And again, like I said, that's a pretty powerful thing. So from now on, any upgrade cost that we have left is going to be reduced by 10%, which is amazing. I guess I probably could have waited on those ones that we did. Okay, we have some things going on out here, and I do believe we'll talk with this ship first. So what do we have going on here? Okay, after setting up an outpost, they figured a few things out. The planet was, until very recently, a gas giant. A nuclear reaction of immense magnitude dissipated the planet's gas and vitrified its formerly liquid core. I do love the use of large words in this game. I mean, just really large words that I know what they mean, but, you know, sometimes I wonder. This event caused P37 to deviate from its natural orbit. There is no evidence this was triggered by a collision with an asteroid or any other celestial body. Our theories suggest it was caused by an external intervention, meaning that somebody blew the thing away, or blew the atmosphere away. Interesting. Go. That'll get us a whole bunch more science and into the idea. We did learn that the other people that the UN didn't like, the Ashtangentes, however you say that word, probably built the facility on this planet and possibly did a little bit more work in this sector. So it's kind of a question is, if this wasn't where this was originally, where was it? Why is it here now? Well, somebody did something to it. Now, I need to make sure. I think we don't have everybody, and I think this was the thing that I did towards the end of last episode that I had forgotten about. I need to launch something there, and I think there might be one more. If not, I'm going to need to launch a bunch more probes, because here fairly soon we're going to be moving Tiqqun up to here. Yeah, that's the only one left, this one, okay. Oh boy, where was that? Get me... Where is it? There it is. Oh, okay, cool. We may have to move a few things. We may move a bunch of stuff over here as we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait on this to be found again, since I forgot to do that, and then we're going to continue on. So we have 2 more ships to play with. Let's talk to this one, because I know what's going to happen down here. Kind of. I need to get this thing moving. This is an interesting thing about this planet. This is the crew of the Faraday. The planet's atmosphere is an extremely high gas concentration. We're navigating through an almost semi-fluid environment. The tremendous pressure is putting the resistance of our suits to the test. Having reached the core, we are preparing to sortie out towards what appears to be a collection of geysers. the area that provided the environmental data as far as things are going here. So we're going to go ahead again and do the same thing we've done. So we're going to do that, and we're going to send, this time we're going to send this one out to go do the work since it can do the work. So they'll go ahead and build another sister, a little, you know, whatever it is there, and then they'll be okay. And again, I want to, while we're looking at things, I'm going to keep finding ice, even though I don't know how much I plan on bringing with us. We're still using ice, and the only thing I'm going to be worried majorly about as far as water is concerned, you're almost there. Get to work. There's so much silicon. Just go ahead and get it all. We need to start making, so we have, yep, we're doing it. Are we doing the work now? Yes, excellent. So we've got that one full, and we have this one slowly filling up. We're also slowly filling up everybody in here, and we're getting close to the point where I'm going to have to probably start worrying about this sector. Now, we're okay still. We've got 100 people. So what we'll start doing fairly soon is we'll start moving some of that 2,000 colonists out of this sector into another sector, to the point that I may fairly shortly crack this sector open and start shoving them into it. Or what we may do is, given the fact we have a reasonable amount of storage space kind of hanging out in this sector, that we could maybe put them in here somewhere, possibly? Question mark? I mean, we do have plenty of steel and things in here. I don't know. I still have the thought that I'm probably going to build a few more of these in here and probably change the way this goes, so I don't really want to mess it up too much, but I could technically build some more houses in a few places if I cared. I think we can, actually, that's right, I've got a couple of spaces in here. Let's, real well, we're waiting on that. Yes. That'll be a couple hundred room for a couple hundred people. Plus we have plenty of storage for some steel, and that'll use up a little bit more circuits. And sure, yeah, no, that's fine. We can do that. I think there's still like possibility for some spaces around here. I could have done better. I understand. I think it's kind of the same old deal. When you start talking about how much this can hold versus how many you can get on a wall, this utilizes the space a little better. I mean, I guess you could lay the other, other houses in front of it, but whatever. We're utilizing that to do a few things. What do we got going on out here? You guys got your stuff going. We have this. You guys should be finished on this, so I need you to go over there and look at that planet. And I think I'm going to make sure we don't uncheck and don't uncheck, just in case they feel like they need to go out there and get some of that stuff. What do we have down here for UC EP41? When we told them to go check something out. All right, the team reports the Telluritic formation is circular in shape and has steep sides. They've begun mapping the numerous tunnels that lead inside it. Initial reports suggest that these are not created by natural phenomena, but dug intentionally. I want you to take notice of the way that planet looks. When they were talking about aluminum rain, liquid aluminum is falling on this planet. Liquid aluminum, I don't even want to know where it is to the point where it would have to be liquefied, what temperature it would require, but it'd be killing everybody on the planet right now, at least theoretically, unless you're precipitating aluminum that has been leached out via various processes. It's still interesting. Continued behavioral analysis of the team has registered breaches of DOLOS safety protocol, as well as metaphysical and psychological aberrations. One crew member appears to have removed their protective helmet, convinced that the air in the tunnels was breathable. Counting for P41's atmosphere, the remaining lifespan is estimated to be 37 minutes. The other thing that's interesting about this system is we're starting to, again, see some really weird things happening in places that just don't seem to make sense. Like, we're seeing some time shifts. We're seeing some people losing their minds. Granted, we've been in space for, what is it now? We're going to check this out in a second. 2,800 cycles.
The science ship has arrived at its destination.
So we'll let them do that, and we'll let them do a few other things. Are you finished, Kruk? No, you're getting built up. You're starting to get your stuff, and this one is collecting its science. Okay, let's go inside while we let the rest of the system work. We're going to go ahead and pause it. Sector 5 says, oh, I caught it right in between things. Do we have those 2 houses built? Good. How many extra people do we have room for in Sector 6? We have, to be exact, where's my calculator? 784 divided by, or minus, excuse me, minus 256. Nope, minus. You need to push the minus button. 276. So I have room for 500 people. That makes my life a little bit easier. So again, 500. Only colonists sector 5 to sector 6. That'll give us a little bit of breathing room. Hopefully that should function. And that'll leave us a little bit of extra space. Yes. So, go. That will also help with the food problem that we're having in here because of the fact that I was stupid and put one of those in there.
Population transfer complete.
I think probably what I need to do... Actually, can I do that? If I set you to food... and I set you to alloy, will you guys just swap? Well, how handy is that? We'll let those finish really quickly. Now, I know that's a kind of a thing you probably shouldn't do. I mean, it's a thing that you can kind of cheat on a little bit as far as moving things that direction. But, nice. So, then I can say, here, you, food, as much as you can put in that thing. Thank you. And that's a little more centrally located between those two. I probably should put those things a little closer to each other, but again, it's as long as it's getting it done in between the feeding cycles, it doesn't really matter as far as those go. My biggest concern actually is the fact that I kind of put these down here when I should have put them up here somewhere. But I can't really move this right now unless I stop feeding it water, and in which case what I need to do is probably start chalking in some of these other storages so that we can start filling them full of stuff. Either way, it's functional, it works, it's just not great, and it is what it is. So we should be doing well on the silicon. We're doing well here. You're getting what you can get. We should be making more chips. We should be making more things.
Accident has occurred in the Tiqqun.
Of course, let's go outside and see how things are going out here. You are working on your event. We've gathered all of the science. This is a point where there's some bad things that can happen. So you can either do this, you can leave the planet, or you can do this. I'm gonna, for once, not do this. And correct P, 43. What do we got? All right. Probe discovered and used electromagnetic signal transmitting from beneath the surface. Signal shares many similarities with our team identified to the Rotansky comet in the Immortan system. The one that had the weird little globy thingy. Okay. Electromagnetic signal seems to be transmitting from below the planet's surface. We only have a limited amount of time to investigate before our suits and the Lavoisier's hull are compromised by the corrosive atmosphere. Mercedes. Of course, Mercedes. Mercedes recommends the use of a demolition charge to accelerate the excavation progress. Please drill a hole. I don't trust anybody named Mercedes and and explosives. Sorry, not to be mean. We do need to get this thing moved away from this area so that we can kind of possibly get away from the nastiness that exists within around this dude. So let's go ahead and see. It's 2 cycles, and we should be able to do 2 cycles. Yeah, we're going to go over there just so that I can get rid of that -1 for the fact that it's sitting in a corpse field. Let's go ahead and do that. And then we have some more stories. We have some things that are probably going to end up very badly on either one of these two. I am totally fine with either one of them happening. However, if we lose one person here instead of the whole crew, I'll be okay with it. Here, we might lose the whole crew. Certain things are going to be... It's interesting, so...
The ship team has completed a task.
Crap. Well, this is Velocity's cream. While drilling, we hit a pressurized gas pocket. The detonation tore open a huge rift under our feet. We lost Mercedes despite their suit exoskeleton, and the explosion damaged most of our drilling equipment. However, we've gained access to an extensive cave network. The atmosphere on P43 is already having an effect on it. We lost one person. I have a feeling that if we'd have tried to blow a hole in it, we'd have lost the entire crew. Just given the way the thing goes. Continue. Oh, we spun it. I spun it. Why did I spun it? Okay, cool. So, I do need to make sure that I need to go ahead and get the rest of this stuff floating around. Wallow, you're not doing anything right now. Go get that and that. Just go get that stuff and bring it back, please, because we have a bunch of leftover things. And now that we're over there,
An accident has occurred in the Tiqqun.
if we look, we don't have a -1 because of the fact that we're hanging out around a bunch of dead people, which is nice. And that should also, let's see what we're doing here. Good. That dropped those numbers back down to 62, which is great. This one's up to, well, that's 60. 39.
Science ship team has completed a task.
And we should be fine. Yeah, we're good to go there. I like it. I like it a lot. That'll work. That'll do the thing. So we've got 500 colonists there.
Science ship team has completed a task.
And I may go ahead and move some more people back into Sector 2 since I have a lot of room. How many people is that? So we could move like 350 people over to there and still have room in case we need it. So 350, only colonists Sector 5 to Sector 2, sure. Did I click the button? No. 350, only colonists, Sector 5, Sector 2. Thank you. All right. And that'll just kind of help spread the food production around. It seems like no matter what you do, that's just a problem. Okay. Fingers crossed we didn't lose everybody doing this. Thanks to the intensive psychological and medical follow-up, the contact team was able to conclude the study. Solid aluminum particles carried by the winds of P41 created the network of tunnels. The erosive process has transformed the topography of the planet. When the particles collide with each other inside the tunnels, their reverberation generates a low-frequency vibration. When this passes through the inner ear, it alters the human neural activity. Sorry. And then we'll leave the planet. Alright. Kruk P43 or Kruk P51. Well, since we've been kind of waiting on these guys to do the work, they were...
Population transfer complete.
Excellent. These guys were building a structure on the planet to try to figure out what was going on here. Alright, so we have discovered unusual bacteriological formations in the geysers of P51. The bacteria are not only capable of arranging amino acids, but also by utilizing geyser emissions as binding agents, they restructure mineral deposits and carve out basins around the geysers. Further groups of bacteria are found within these basins. We have named the bacteria Myers or Mealers, and would like to carry out further behavioral analysis. On bacteria, why don't you give me my science first, and then you guys can go do whatever. Holy cow, we've got 360. I'm failing terribly at the science production. Do science. Yes, and get me some research stuff here. Generating power accidents, instruction. I think everything else is about as good as I want to do. No, there was battery. We need to do that one, and then we can do this as well once we get to that point. I need to be better doing on that because we have an awful lot of science. Okay, cool. We'll let those roll, and everything else looks pretty good. We're cranking on these circuits. That's nice. We'll have lots and lots of circuits by the time we get towards the end of some of this. And as we go, we'll just grab something else. Let's do that one.
Accident has occurred in the Tiqqun.
And everything else seems to be doing pretty good there. Again, I may start working on cracking this sector open here fairly soon, or I might just say we'll do it at the end of the episode so that we can start putting people where we need to put people. Alright, are you done? I don't think there's anything else for that one to look at. Go home. Kruk P43. We have reached the anomaly. It is in a large cave full of strange geological forms. Concentric circles are present in the walls, reaching from the floor to the ceiling and form many of the layers of different settlements. Crystal formations have grown everywhere. What is most astonishing, however, is the anomaly itself. Huge gray sphere with about 4 meters in diameter floating in the center of the cave. We are setting up analysis instrumentation now. What's interesting is that we found this again. We found the first one on a comet that did some really wonky people to, I believe, the Contact's crew. They came back not being the same people after they got this going. So now we have this, we're confronted with the same situation. What do? Do you walk away from it? Do you look at it? Do you mess around with it? There are right and wrong answers to all of these. You can choose multiple different directions and things are going to happen. And basically, the point that you need to understand is you pay attention to the fact that we will find this again. We're going to start with everything except the sphere. All right, and finally, we have Faraday sitting at the 51, where we're currently sitting. All right, so they wanted to look at more tests on the bacteria. We'll let them look at the bacteria. Hopefully we don't find some kind of crazy alien species that managed to create a explosion big enough to blow off the surface of that thing and cause whatever this storm is to do things and stuff. I don't know. We'll see. At least we didn't die over here, so we're good to go there. And, well, we should be fine to do some more stuff. I think at this point what we're going to do, we need to go inside and we need to check everything, make sure everything's working as always. I might actually go ahead and fill this one up full of food too, although our
ship team has completed
our systems are doing reasonably well at this point.
An accident has occurred in the Tiqqun.
Yeah, we still have a bunch of stuff here. I think what we're going to do is in this sector, what is it, Sector 5? I'm going to knock that number for alloy down a ways. Sector 5 doesn't need to be that much, so that it'll kind of clean that out, because I don't think we're going to be building anything in there again for a little while.
The team has completed a task.
Nice. Have we collected all of the available... Whoop, wrong button. We've collected all of those. Okay. So we just need to continue to crank out open and cryopods. We've got about 500 more to go before we're done. I did upgrade this to the point where we're doing about one every 0.2 cycles. So we're going as quickly as we can with that process. It's just going to take its sweet time unless I open another one of these up. Not really concerned about it at this point, but theoretically we should have over 5,000 people by the time we leave this system, if we so choose. If we so choose to do so. Which means I'm probably going to have to figure out how I'm going to keep some of this going. And again, you're going to have to kind of be careful about the food, because the food will eventually get to the point where we're going to have to start turning on this stuff over here. But we're doing all right, I think. I think for right now, we're doing fine. We really need to do something with all of this stuff, but I can probably work a little bit of that out and do a little bit more. I need to work a little bit better on the bottom section down here to make this a little bit more reasonable, but we are working well. What do we have left for some stories? Got that one done. I'm going to save you for later, my friend, and then we're going to get this one. All right, the majority of the Meyer bacteria live inside a geyser's tube. Smaller groups do exist externally that appear to have been excluded. Samples from within the geyser reveal an organized society that is not only able to propagate other types of bacteria, but also use what they can only be described as tools, exchanged via vascular transfer. Gross. We theorized a bacteriological language, and with the help of the PA, sent a message to the colony through appropriate stimuli. And they responded. The colony has proposed to follow us on an expedition to the Tiqqun. It will be a monumental undertaking, as a single human cycle corresponds to several hundred of theirs. We have determined that the best way of transporting the bacteria will be to settle a small colony within the respiratory tract of one of the crew, perhaps in an extreme method, but it will provide the best way to transport the or ideally will provide the ideal conditions for the bacteria, an intelligent and aware species. This will surely open a way for new perspectives. Why don't you give me your science, and then we'll make a decision on that one. Golly. Again, some oddness happening in the thing that we could possibly kill the entire population of the space station with this planet alone. Quite interesting. All right, let's check one more. Okay, analysis reveals that these crystals were formed relatively recently. Their growth accelerated by the sphere. Their formations also contain elements that we thought absent on P43. Sensors indicate the team's suits and Lavoisier's hull will soon be compromised by the planet's atmosphere. Reparation should be initiated with urgency. Only once you get me all of the stuff. It's fine. It's good. It's okay. You got to give me your science first. Okay. Last thing I'm going to do. Since we have all the parts, pieces, and the stuff, we're going to go ahead and pop this sector open. And I am going to, well, in between episodes, probably start building something fairly simple like this. We're just going to do the exact same thing, fill it with a bunch of people.
Administrator, a new request awaits your attention.
Well, that was fast. Holy cow. What do we got? One more time. It's a battery. It's a battery telling me something. Administrator, all sectors of Tiqqun have been unlocked. The crew feels motivated knowing the station is now fully operational. And we get a trust bonus 10%. I would love to have had like a +1, whatever, all of the sectors open, but whatever. Anyhow, I'm in between episodes. We're likely just going to be doing something fairly simple to this. I'm just going to build a bunch more houses in here so that we can start shoving in a few more things. Likely what we will probably do with this one as well is we will put a bunch of the... where is it? A bunch of these in there. A bunch of these, what do you call them? These docking bays in there, so that we can start using this sector as a somewhat storage room / space station thingy, whatever. But we're going to have to do a whole bunch of work to get to that point. So until then, I will see you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. I think fairly soon we're going to be moving out of this sector. Probably next time. I'll see how far I can get on this cryopod thingy before it tells us we can leave. But we're going to do a little bit more exploration. We're going to get a little bit more stuff done here. I'm going to stock a whole bunch of stuff up in this sector, maybe. And then we're going to leave, hopefully. So, we'll see y'all later. Bye.